Okay, sometimes when people are out hunting or camping, um, things like that on a hike, they don't have enough food or they want to add to their food that they have. I'm outside my daughter's house right now. I'm just going to point out some of the plants. Right here is a form of wild mustard right here. And you can eat that raw or you can cook it. And that's a good plant. There's a few different kinds of wild mustard. But that's one of them. And then here's a plant right here which has been used for quite a few thousand, over a couple thousand years. This is one of the varieties of mallow, M-A-L-L-O-W. Mallow was first used, well, excuse me, it was used to make marshmallows the very first time that they made it in France. So that's mallow. You can eat it raw, you can cook with it. If you put it into soups or stews and things like that, it's used as a thickening because the juice in it as mucilaginous and it thickens, and it's actually a nice flavor and texture. It's a weed that grows mainly in people's yards and stuff. It's kind of a nuisance weed, but this plant has saved more civilizations throughout history from famine than any other plant in the world. It's a very important plant to the earth. Then over here, some people know this is sour grass. All right, this is actually called wood sorrel. And you can eat about 2 cups in a day at the most. After that, you might get a stomach cramp, most likely. And when you chew the flowering part, stem, it's got a lot of moisture in it, but it tastes really sour. And some people actually like that. I grew up eating that a lot. I used to know it as sour grass as a kid. But you can pick it and eat it. It looks similar to clover, but it's called wood sorrel. All right. And here's another plant. This is Nepales. The new growth on it especially is good to do. You remove the little spots carefully. On the new growth, there's not very many cactus thistles, but if you get a thistle in your hand, just rub your hand through your hair, and oftentimes that'll take out the thistles. But on the new growth, you cut off those little spots and you boil it in some garlic and salt water if you have that, or just boil it in water for 15 minutes. And after that, you can eat it or fry it or whatever. That's a good way to do it. You can also use these pads of the plant to, like if you're going to do pit cooking, if you don't have burlap and stuff, you put this around what you have to cook, like a wild pig or animal in a pit. And that holds the moisture in as it's cooking and protects it from the burning coals under the ground. The other one here is Olivera. And what you do with Olivera is you take one of these off, you cut it or break it open, and then there's a white part in the center. It's kind of cloudy looking. And by itself, it's kind of like when you eat a raw persimmon, how that leaves your mouth. But it's full of water, full of really good healing properties. But you can break that open, remove the white part, and use that in your foods, or eat it by itself. I don't like it by itself. I like it in smoothies and stuff. But that gives you some of the plants that grow right outside my daughter's house on the Nepales. You get the cactus pears when they turn red or yellow, whatever. Then they're ready to eat. The seeds you spit out. They're real hard. So that's it in a nutshell. Oh, with moss. Moss has a lot of iodine in it, so it never has any mold. All right, and you can use that to like a survival shelter. You can put that on the top of the shelter, and that will waterproof it. Even though it retains water, it also repels water. So you have to replace it every 2 days with fresh moss on a shelter. Just want to share that with you. Hope you like that. It's good to know if you're out shooting somewhere and you're away from people. You never know when you're going to have to spend the night somewhere, or when you need to get some more food. All right? That's it in a nutshell.